You boys know what's about to happen to you. You'd leave now.
Some consider these traits to be toxic, such as undesirable in the men of today. We consider these traits such as these not only to be desirable, but to be appreciated and celebrated. Welcome to the Toxic Male Appreciation Show, hosted by and La Reina Creole. Welcome to the safe space for the toxic male.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toxic Male Appreciation Show with your co hosts. And of course, I am Lorena Creole, and we're so glad to be here. How are you doing, my dear?
I am doing well, Lorena. Oh, it's always a good day when we get to talk about another toxic male, Lorena. I am so excited for this show today.
I am as well because this is one of those guys who I can say I knew him when he was doing something totally different in a totally different fandom that I was in. And then when he got an iconic uh, comic book role, so to speak, for the screen, literally, I was screaming and running around when I heard who it was. And of course, we are going to be talking about the one, the only, God, I freaking love his accent. Henry Cavill.
Oh, yes, thank
God.
goodness.
Ugh, ugh. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to be talking about him. So it is going to be a packed show with just discussion, appreciation, and whatever else falls out of our falls out of our mouth for discussion. So while you guys are filing in, of course, you can follow her, also known as Positive Fandom, on Twitch, and of course, you can follow me as well on Twitch. So we are so glad that you are here. So why don't you reintroduce yourself, since there may be some people who don't know you who are watching the stream?
Yes. I'm from Positive Fandom. I do have a YouTube channel called Positive Fandom, as you mentioned, as well as a Twitch channel. However, I also do stream with you, Lorena, on Toxic Femininity on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I also stream live sometimes on the 1/6 Scale Man Network for Say What, or on Uncivilized Scoundrels. And some of you might even know me from Midnight's Edge in the morning at 12 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. And I also stream with Robert Meyer Burnett with the PGS on the weekend. And I have my own live show, as you mentioned, Lorena, earlier, called a Sunday Brunch. My channel, Positive Fandom, focuses on the positive aspects of the fandom that we know and love. And, we
Mm.
do criticize, but we try to stay positive with it all and just enjoy everything. And that's my philosophy for commenting, talking about the fandom, and enjoying the fandom community, enjoying everybody in the community.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I love about your streams. It's you concentrate on, the fun stuff about fandom. Because remember when fandom used to be fun,
Yeah.
and you couldn't wait to like watch stuff or get together with your friends. Now, granted, there's been a lot of shenanigans, for lack of a better term, happening. However, it's hard to focus on the fun and the positive stuff. So that's kind of like what both of us do,
Yes.
in our streams. So of course, I am Lorena Creole, usually the person doing double what is it? Double tasking, multitasking going
Triple
on.
tasking, quadruple tasking.
Yeah, yeah, kind of doing that with stuff that I should have had when the show started in the first place. But anyway, we're here. So I'm the Reina Creole. Of course, you can find me on Monday evenings on Midnight's Edge for Toxic Fandom, which I do with her and also with Nina Infinity as well. You can also catch me on the Dark Castle on Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. And last night we actually had it on El Presidente's channel.
Wow,
Yes, Abu
wow.
Nasser's channel. So please do go and watch that repeat. And Abu Nasser's probably flipping out about the fact that we're talking about Henry Cavill. Oh, so yes, you can find me there. Of course, various other streams, after school special, theme park geeks and divas. Of course, I do an anime stream once a month as well on my channel, and of course, the theme park streams that I do. So, without further ado, you ready to get into our appreciation of choice
Oh, yes, I
here
am so ready
today?
for this, Lorena. I cannot. It's so good.
It really is just absolutely amazing. Let me show this here while I'm like fighting with the darn piece of lint that's on the side of my hair. Decided, I'm gonna screw up your look on screen. I'm gonna screw it up. Anyway, yes, Henry, Henry, Henry Cavill, and
Yes, yes.
I, I have to tell you, Henry Cavill. Well, you know what? Where we'll start back. Well, not backwards. We'll start differently. Where did you first find out about Henry Cavill?
I first saw him in a movie called something like I Claim the Castle, or I something like that. And then after I saw him in that film, I saw him in a mini series about Henry the Eighth, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't know that he was even in that miniseries, because you remember all the hype was around the star of the series and how they were saying, well, this is going to be Henry the Eighth when he was young and viral, and he has his whole life ahead of him. And so I thought, wow, this is going to be an incredible series. It's called The Tudors, and of course, Henry Cavill was in that series.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of probably two of the first places that I saw him in, and of course, the place that really cemented my appreciation for Henry Cavill is, of course, Man of Steel.
Mm, man, that movie. I love and hate it at the same, at the same time. But we'll get into that a little bit later. It's kind of like the glass is half empty for me. But hey, not because of Henry Cavill. I'll tell you that much.
That's right.
He was the part that was half full.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wow, I had not heard of that. I hadn't heard of that series. And the first time that I saw him, first of all, I am like a British history junkie way before I found out about the British history in my family. One of my favorite things to learn in school was when we would start learning about British history, and the one that everyone paid attention to was Henry VIII and his 6 wives. So that
Yes.
was like what everybody, wanted to hear about. It's like nobody really cared about the War of the Roses. Like, yeah. Okay. When does Henry VIII come in?
Right.
And which ones of the wives got executed? Because what I think it was like divorced, executed, died,
Died. Right.
divorced, executed,
Executed.
survived.
Survived. Yeah.
It was just something about that intrigue. So when I heard that they were doing um, this on HBO for the Tudors, First of all, I was like, "Oh, this is in my wheelhouse." But then I saw Charles Brandon
Right.
uh, in a very compromising yet interesting position when he was first introduced on the show, and I'm like, "Who is this guy?" I didn't even pay. I mean, yeah, Jonathan Rhys Davies. He was awesome. He was awesome
And they
in
kept talking about him like this was such a big deal. This series was going to be
Mhm.
so different. No one's ever talked about Henry VIII when he was a young man. This is going to be from a completely different point of view. Who could forget, Hampton Court Palace and all the stuff
Yes.
that he was involved in, and just everything. I'm trying to think of the other gentleman that was also really important in his life, who, how he went ahead and
Um,
decided to take over,
Cromwell?
create the church. Yes, Oliver
Cromwell.
Cromwell. And
Mhm.
then, the Church of England. I mean, so much happened during this reign. And, while we know about it, all they ever showed you was sort of like, let's say Henry VIII, kind of like when he was older and kind of very heavy and maybe not so young even. So a
Mhm.
lot of people kind of associated Henry VIII with that particular version, but he was a young man, and this whole thing
Mhm.
was going to be about him being this incredible, I'm sorry, but sex machine essentially. Um,
Yeah. That is absolutely it in a nutshell, because in addition to his wives, he had I don't know how many, concubines. His eldest son, well, yeah, his eldest son was not legitimate. Actually, it was a married woman, and he wound up having, this heir by. And he wasn't legitimate, but he did legitimize him as the next heir, which unfortunately, I think he was Edward II. Unfortunately, he died young. He got sick, and he died young. But all of this stuff about his life, his life, the wives, kind of like all the intrigue, and how one wife, like, she was on top 1 minute, and then, out the door, whether it was, I see this other woman I want, or I'm just not in love with you anymore, or I just don't want you anymore, or
he
unfortunately,
was
like
a
with the third,
player.
he,
He was
oh
a
God, he
player.
was a pimp. Absolute OG pimp.
Absolutely. He was like Biggie, but in English version. Just
Yes,
like
exactly, but in English version, everyone trying to get his attention, and his right-hand man, his road dog, so to speak, was Charles Brandon, played by
yes.
Henry Cavill, and it was
Yes.
just amazing
Yes. Yeah.
watching him. I didn't know anything about this guy, but his performance as Henry VIII's most
Mhm.
trusted confidant, outside of, I would
Mhm.
say, most familiar confidant, next
Right. Outside of
to,
maybe Oliver Cromwell, right?
outside of Oliver Cromwell. He was in favor with Henry VIII, and fell out of favor when he married his sister. Just seeing how he went through that, and his acting chops. It was, even to the darn end. Oh my God! He was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I keep saying amazing because it was. It was a
Mhm.
great
Yes.
piece of historically based fiction piece. It had a ton of fans. So when it got announced that Henry Cavill was the next Superman,
Yeah.
damn.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And what's really funny about this, Lorena, is that I'm not going to say that this isn't true of previous Supermen. I'm not going to say this, but it
Mhm,
seemed to me like they did play up more on Henry Cavill's physique than I've ever seen in a Superman before. I mean, Superman, I'm not saying previous Supermans were not impressive. Certainly,
mhm.
certainly Christopher Reeve, was an absolute dream.
Yes.
Hello.
Kitty.
Hi. Certainly Christopher Reeve was, definitely very aristocratic looking. He was so incredibly handsome and tall, and, with the dark hair, striking, good looks for sure.
Mhm.
But we didn't really see him with his shirt off. He wasn't kind of like flex doing the body flex, or seeing him get wet, so to speak. Like, they didn't push Superman as a sex symbol in that film. And something that I noticed very different about Man of Steel is
Mhm.
that Henry Cavill is absolutely 100% pushed as a sexy Superman. He is smoking hot. We see him with his shirt off a ton of times. We see him pretty much just like just walking around on the earth like he's a freaking god, Lorena. And it's like, I kind of love it. I kind of love his carefreeness. And it's true, it took a while for him to get to, let's say, that point where he knew what he could do. But once he discovered that, it was almost like he was kind of like, I'm the king of the world, like it was really kind of a very interesting approach. But even his physicality in this role, his body, is something that plays such a strong role as him and Superman, Lorena. And I didn't know what to expect. I'm sure once you saw him in Man of Steel, you can't tell by these photos. Once you watch this film and you see him physically and you realize, wow, he certainly is very proud of his physique.
Uh-oh, did we lose her? We'll wait for her to come back. I think she's on her mobile phone.
Okay.
But there we
Sorry.
go. There we go. That's
Sorry.
all right. I was going to ad lib till you got back.
And but just his physicality alone, Lorena, we haven't really seen that many superheroes who we've seen their physiques so exposed and so focused on, because there are some scenes in this film where I see, so much. It's almost as if the strength is reverberated in his physicality. And, it's true that if you see a man who is fit, you would expect them to be strong, that they can do incredible things that we can't do. Like, I
Mhm,
can't lift things like that, but a man can do that.
mhm.
And then it becomes manifested as Superman, and it becomes even more enhanced. Like, it's this incredible, interpretation of Superman that we haven't seen Superman like that. We haven't seen him with his shirt off like that, getting wet and kind of like, getting down and dirty on oil rigs, or on, like, I think he was on some kind of like the deadliest catch, like.
Yeah, it's like greenhorn over there. I thought that was the funniest placement, because if you've ever watched Deadliest Catch, you know that is one of the most dangerous
Yes.
jobs to have, just because of the hazards and just the physical work that's done. So that's why it was so funny when I called him the greenhorn. It's like, do you know who this dude is?
I'm like, yeah, he's not a greenhorn. He's kind of an alien from another world and is stronger than everyone. But
Hmm.
yeah, and I think that it's not, honestly, I think this is the first iteration of Superman we've seen like that. I don't think we've ever seen him. I'm not saying Christopher Reeve wasn't a sex symbol, but just not like this.
No, we haven't, and it's interesting that you should say that, because I remember when I first saw, because Christopher Reeve is always going to be Superman, to me.
Yes.
He's like the goat. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
that's pretty much who Henry Cavill had to live up to. So I remember seeing that with my parents. Like my dad was excited because he was into DC. I wasn't. I was like, nah, I'm going into Marvel. DC's my dad's kind of thing. I don't want to. I'm not really interested in it. But some of the, like, it was more reflective of what you saw on the comic book pages.
Yes.
Everything down to hey, Devin Walker, good to
Hi.
see you. The whole persona was of, like, Clark Kent having to hide his identity, having to blend who he was. And you always heard them say, or not heard, but saw on paper, or, in the comics, the mild mannered Clark Kent. And that's the part that they played up, of him trying to disguise who he is, nerding him out. Because he had the glasses on, nerding him out. And in the original Superman, where Clark gets his first job, and he's telling J. Jonah Jameson that I know, God, oh God, no, 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 he's telling Perry White, I'm sorry,
Mhm,
sorry,
mhm.
sorry.
Yeah, it's cool.
Universes collided there for a minute. They're like,
It's cool.
The purists are going, oh my God. Okay. I told you, Marvel girl first. Um, tells him, I'd like you to send, I think it was half of his salary back home to his mother.
Yes.
And it's just like he thinks that much, of his mother. So that's kind of like what they played up. You could see his body, but it wasn't Clark Kent or Superman sexy dude. It was Superman, the superhero. He's mild mannered as Clark Kent. When he's in action, he's basically a Boy Scout,
Yeah.
pretty much. So they have the Boy Scout thing. But with this one, you're right. He is more, you see more of his body. You see more of his physicality. You see more
Mhm.
of him as a blatant sex symbol, because if he wasn't, they would not have had the Superman outfit on him the way that it is. Because there's a big difference. I mean, Christopher Reeve's Superman outfit kind of looks like a leotard,
Yes.
which looks like the comics, looks like a leotard, but with this one, it's like it's textured. It's when I first saw the pictures, I was like, "Oh my God, it's freaking gorgeous." But that's what they did with this particular Superman. It's like it's okay to look at Superman and drool. Like, yes, absolutely, because I had to drool because, oh Lord, Man of Steel.
Oh God.
Man of Steel. My big thing that took me out of Man of Steel was one of the biggest lessons that, and I know I'm kind of going off topic a little bit. One of the biggest lessons, or the hardest lessons that Clark Kent had to learn, is that he couldn't control everything. Like when his father, Jonathan Kent, he fell down dead from a heart attack. He couldn't save his own dad.
Right.
But in Man of Steel, his dad taken out by a tornado. I,
Yeah. A lot of
I,
people are very upset about it.
I did. I was just like, I wanted to say bump this movie, but Henry Cavill looks so good. I'm like, okay, we'll watch it, all the way through. So if it wasn't for Henry Cavill, I would not have watched this. Like all the way through it all. Man of Steel. I knew Batman versus Superman. I had to watch the theatrical cut of that. But again, I was interested for Henry Cavill, stayed for Ben Affleck. Zack Snyder actually sold Ben Affleck to me as Batman, so he
Mhm.
gets points. He gets points for that. But for me now, Henry Cavill is Superman.
Yes.
You know, to
Yes. No, no, you make such a good point because a lot of people share that. I obviously share that sentiment, Lorena. And I think a lot of fans, didn't know what to expect with a new Superman. After all, there was another gentleman before him who played the role, was not as effective, in my opinion, of a Superman as Cavill.
why am I
For a
drawing a
number.
blank on who this person is?
Well, he's also kind of a hottie, but he didn't have the full package that Cavill seems to have. Well, what am I saying? Seems definitely has,
Who
and
was he? I swear my brain wiped out who that was.
he actually looked like a younger version of Henry Cavill. So they weren't too far off the mark.
Mhm.
And there have been Lois and Clark versions on television with people playing Superman that this young fellow kind of looked like.
Oh, you mean Dean Cain?
Yes, Dean Cain is one of them, but not the movie. There was I think there was one other movie one, and I could be wrong, guys. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Why am I blanking out?
But do you know the one I'm talking about, Lorena? Am I correct or am I wrong?
I'm really trying to figure out, like, literally, I'm going through here trying to figure out who else played him in the movie.
Normally I could query it, but I don't have my computer in front of me. But what I am going to
Who
say,
played
Lorena,
him in
is that this is the first real actor that has been able to take the reins from
Mhm.
Christopher Reeve. Because
Absolutely.
prior to that point, I couldn't really name an actor who could do it. And, of course, I'm sorry, my mom was,
That's okay.
bless you. um, I think that some of the responsibilities of taking over the role of Superman is not an ordinary role. And, you can't just have anybody play this role. There are certain elements of the role that have to be afforded. And I think that he incorporates all those things, not just from his, being a great actor, but his personality too. And
Mhm.
and that's something that isn't, what's interesting about this is that honestly, his physique really is that suit. Like he's as pumped up as Aquaman is. He really has taken time to make sure that he looks like this role. But I also think it's interesting because I when I found out about him as an actor, I didn't know. I found out he was British later on, let's say. Obviously from the Tudors, I should have guessed he might have been British, but I thought to myself, wow, if he's British and he's going to be playing Superman, I'm like, nah, he's going to go with an American accent, which they did. But, he seems to master the accents perfectly. Um, but when we
Mhm.
see him in these British roles, Lorena, Henry Cavill also shines in that too. And I honestly, I think that no matter what role he seems to take, he's absolutely brilliant. And, like he was in this Enola Holmes movie for a few minutes,
Mhm.
and he seemed to kind of master that and take over. And he certainly pushed Enola Holmes to the side in the
Wow.
story. Yeah, because he kind of gets into the character of the
Mhm.
brother. And even though it's a short minute, he is more important in the story than Enola, who's kind of like she's neither here nor there in a lot of it. But
Mhm.
I think that for Cavill, the other film, Lorena, and first of all, I can't even talk enough about Cavill, so I'm actually having trouble even saying all I want to say about this man. So if he were to ever see this, we absolutely think you're incredible, Henry Cavill. So I just
Absolutely.
want to say that. But the other thing that I was going to say is I was even more impressed by him in The Witcher. Now, I wasn't expecting to feel that way, Lorena. I found out he was going to be playing
Ooh.
in The Witcher.
Let me bring up The Witcher because I have not seen this before, and I'm gonna pop up Dad Man Walking thing up here what he just said. He
Hi.
says, "Even I admire Cavill's abs." Said it once, and then the missus said, "I could have them if I worked out."
Maybe.
Oh, you gotta say hi to Mrs. Dad Man.
Absolutely.
She's
Hello
she's
there.
she's amazing. She's amazing. Prismatics is here. Hello, hello, hello. It says
Hi.
hello, Lorena and
Hello.
well, hello, and glad you're here. Glad you're here over here, both you, all you guys over here
Yes, yes. We do
on
appreciate you
Twitch.
all.
And
Yes.
let's see one more. We have Shield Wall of Dragons. Hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hi.
hello. Says
Hi.
hello. Henry is a professional and a fan of nerdy things. I mean, my dude plays 40K. Don't get any more nerdy than that. He
Yes.
is. I freaking love that
Yes.
about him.
Yes. Oh, and so that's the other thing I wanted to say, Lorena, too, before I start to talk about him in The Witcher is all of a sudden we have, sort of like the rise or the discovery of the hot nerd. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's a hot nerd. He's hot, he's smoking hot, but he likes nerdy things. So, nerds
Mhm,
can be smoking hot, just like Cavill. Just like I think a bunch of us in the community are smoking hot.
mhm,
I think that, that's kind of a realization or maybe an association that people did not make with nerds, but they can be super hot. And Cavill is one of those ones who kind of shows this. And when he was in The Witcher, Lorena, I didn't know what The Witcher was going to be like because, it's a very popular IP. And he just absolutely became this character, Geralt, who is not easy to play, being the Witcher. Like it wasn't really easy, in my opinion, to play. But he just made him come alive, Lorena. And you
mhm,
believe this character. I mean, he really is so incredibly likable. I've even seen videos where martial artists have analyzed how he fights in The Witcher, and they're like, "Yes, he has
mhm,
great form." And I'm like, "Of course he has great form. Look at him." So I
mhm,
can't say enough about Henry Cavill. when I first looked him up in IMDb, I found out that he had an English accent. That's when I was like, oh my God, and he's British too. So just like you, I was, I'm an Anglophile, so I was like, wow, he's British too. That's so cool. So,
His British accents are just so freaking sexy.
oh my God, they're great.
Oh, they just flip that. Yes, yes, they are. They are. I mean, I'm over in the UK and they would like, oh, you're not from around here. I'm like, no, I just want to listen to you talk. That's
That's right.
I just want to hear you talk. But yeah, I was just like amazed because in the Tudors, believe it or not, his British accent is not as heavy. Like when you listen to him in interviews, I thought he was American for the longest time because the way it's funny. It's like his English in a way his accent almost sounded like he was from the South, like he was a Southern gentleman because his English accent was not that heavy in the
Right.
Tudors.
Right.
And then I see an interview and I find out this dude, I didn't know he was British until I heard he was announced as the next Superman. And they're like, wait, Superman's British? I'm like, Henry Cavill's British? I just couldn't believe it. But when he was
Mhm.
talking about getting the role of Superman, he seemed like so overwhelmed. And he's just like, I have to do Christopher Reeve justice. And he really was like, I really see this as something to be revered and I need to treat it with care. Not joking that you don't work out,
Wow.
Pattinson. Don't say that. But he did. So let's see. I want to get you two more comments before we move on because they're really, really funny and
Yes.
they're both from Shield
Yes.
Wall of Dragons because
Absolutely.
so applicable here. Well, to be fair, a lot of nerds don't have six-pack abs, but I do think many look good. You know what? It's about looking your best,
That's right.
okay? I work in IT. That is like the mosh pit of nerds, okay? I tell people this all the time. You always know when you're in like IT or software development area because all of the cubicles and all of the desks and all of the offices look like a museum of nerd swag.
I
That's
love it.
it's crazy. One time I had a VP. I'm going to my desk and because I had like a plush Deadpool on my desk, and I walked to my desk and like the VP of engineering is like looking at it, and he's like, "Oh, this is so cool." And I see him. He's like, "Oh, is this yours? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so I was like, man, I guess if you asked me to dig it, I'd probably have to say yeah. But I mean, that's how it is. Everyone has like all their nerd stuffs. You do not have to have six-pack abs,
No,
but you do need to dress nice and you do need to have a personality.
absolutely.
That's what it is. Just be you and your whole geeky, nerdy self look like the best put together nerd that you can think of. And yeah.
Yeah, and Lorraine, it's also at this point, although maybe not just at this isn't the first film, but we're starting to see, pretty much like incredible looking people playing a lot of these superhero roles, and in IPs that we really enjoy.
Mhm.
Incredibly good looking, attractive people. I mean, he is. There's no doubt about it. This man is incredibly good looking. He's incredibly attractive, and all of a sudden, it seemed like we were getting people who were just knockout gorgeous starting to play many of these roles because these superhero IPs and
Mhm.
fantasy science fiction horror IPs now have become so important and such huge grossing films and IPs that companies are seeking out people who have these features,
Mhm.
so to speak. And of course we know Superman has a very large physique, but so does Geralt, as we see. I hope I'm saying his name right. In this shot that you have there,
Mhm.
Lorena, I was so blown away with him as the Witcher. He's got blonde hair here, so he looks good as a brunette and a blonde. Um, he can play, Superman. He can play this role. I can't remember what else he has slated, but he really is incredibly versatile actor who can do arduous kinds of
Mhm.
roles. And I just think that he really is kind of an incredible package, in regards to, you'd want to have him in every movie that you ever made, even if it was the smallest role, because he's going to knock it out of the park. He's going to grab everyone's attention. And, he really is kind of this really attractive English
Mhm.
gentleman, I think, at least in my fantasy of what Henry
Oh,
Cavill is
oh
like.
no. Oh no, he totally is. He totally is. It's like he's nice to look at. He's easy on the eyes. He's very good at what he does, as an actor. He's just like perfectly cast. Yes, I'm biased. Shield Blood of Dragon says the thing that really amazes me is the rise of the hot nerd chick. Where in the hell they were when I was a teen is beyond me, but now, wow. If you were like me, you were hiding in plain sight. I was a cheerleader. Nobody believed I was, a nerd. It wasn't cheerleaders and nerds when I went to school did not cross paths
No,
very
no, they
much.
didn't. No.
And
And
he
I went to an all girls school, so there was none of that, sadly.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you just did, and I, mostly had to deal with the mean girls who you couldn't exactly reveal that you were like
that's right.
into nerdy stuff like that. But once you got out of that, honestly, once I got out of that and went into college, that's where they all were because then that's when the nerd herd all congregated, and that's where you found other people and, Star Trek night, Star Wars night,
Hmm.
you know, Lord of the Rings reading club, stuff like that. That's
Right.
eventually what you ran into, and then you had science fiction conventions, which were basically hookup spots. So anyway, that's stories for another
Yes, yes, we will have to have another special episode about that.
Yes, we will. Thank you,
Oh,
Prismatics, as
thank
both you and
you.
Lorena and her are hot nerds yourself. Oh,
Oh,
well,
thank
thank
you so
you.
much. We love
Thank
that. We love that you said
you.
that.
We love it. We love it. Sometimes when my sister watches streams, she's just like, I tried to hang in there, but y'all just got too freaking nerdy for me.
What?
She tells
Oh
me
my
that.
gosh. Yeah, it's okay.
And then I say, okay, shut up before I make the Wi-Fi password even more complex. You can figure it out. I used to get a lot of crap. He's like, you're such a nerd. You're such a nerd. And then if you ever watch Married with Children, where they went back to the high school reunion and like the jocks, no one was really around them, but they look over the table, there's all these nerds smoking with the chicks, and he's like, you should have done your own homework, Al. They all look like Bill Gates clone.
Hmm. Yes.
Oh, it was great. Let's see. He was jacked and had a fight scene that pretty much made the movie in Mission Impossible. Really?
I didn't know that. Oh yeah, he was it. I think it was it 2018? He was in Mission Impossible. Yeah.
I missed that one. I dropped out of that when I think after the first one, second one. I think the second one. Think the second one, because the first one I didn't like what they did with the original character from Mission Impossible. I really didn't like what they did. And then I saw the second one. I was like, yeah, okay, all right. I'll just go back and watch it. Hello, Cheryl Mercury, aka Black Superwoman. So good to see you. Good to see you. Says I saw him in Mission Impossible. Well, I may have to watch that because I didn't know he was in Mission Impossible, and I'm shallow enough to admit if he looks hot, I will freaking go see whatever the heck he's in. Yeah, the bathroom fight scene. Okay, that's another movie I have to put on my
Yeah,
put
we're
on
gonna
my
have to
list.
watch that.
We're gonna have to. Oh my god, look at this.
He's insane with this sword, Lorena. I mean, it was anybody who likes, this type of science fiction fantasy stuff.
Uh-huh.
He made my science fiction fantasy dreams come true. I've never thought I would see him playing in something like this, and he just was so wonderful in it. So, honestly,
Sorry,
yes,
I look at this. I was like,
yes,
I love that. I love that.
yes, yes. I mean, he's just so incredible. I think that we are very lucky to have him playing these roles. And, he's been absent for a while. And I know there's been a lot of chatter about him coming back
Hmm.
and what's going to happen. And I every night I pray that he comes back, and I don't care. You know, I think that yes.
Super, super sexy
Yes.
man.
Yeah. But he's not arrogant, Lorena. Like this, he seems really down to earth. That's what you remember that video where where he put the computer together.
Yes. Yes, I remember.
And it was during the pandemic. He didn't talk. He didn't talk. He didn't say anything.
He just put that sucker together.
Yeah, and then I think he assembled it backwards or
Hmm.
whatever way it was. He had to kind of, like, I've done that a bazillion times. I'm like, oh, it's on the wrong way. Okay, guess we'll
Hmm.
have to remove it. But that was like maybe one of the most enjoyable like YouTube videos I've ever seen in my life. I wasn't expecting. I wonder why he did that. Like, I kind of, maybe he wanted to connect with the nerd population, because who's going to want to see him put a computer together? Like, who would want to see that? Only nerds.
You're absolutely right. Only nerds. The fact that, because when I heard about it, I said, put his computer together. Was it what? You mean he pulled it out of the box and just like put the cables together and did that? Because I'm like, I'm not freaking impressed by that. They're like, no, he put it together, like the motherboard and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And I
I'm
was like,
like,
wow.
that's some nerd cred right there to build, to put it like, to be able to put it together. Kind of like you're a true gearhead if you can disassemble an engine and put it back together. If you can disassemble a computer and put it back together, that's, that's how
Yeah.
they know that your nerd cred is for real. And also, if you remember, there was this one interview, and I think it was when he was still on The Witcher, and they tried to bring up that topic of toxic fans. And the way that Henry Cavill handled that was great. You know,
Mm.
it was just basically like, the fans are passionate, and it's just like you just have to, you know, kind of take that as as it comes at you, but in other words, handle that with grace. Like, not insult the fans, because the fans are not toxic. The fans just are very passionate about this particular property that they love, and it was so refreshing to hear that, because you kept hearing about toxic fans. Toxic fans just want everything to be pure, and they don't want other people in their fandom. It's like, no, that's not it. It's that we want you to respect that we respect what came before. And I think because Cavill is such a nerd, he understands that, and he knows how nerds think. He knows how to communicate, with us. And it reminds me of the actors who would go to the conventions, like I'll say, like the Star Trek conventions before some of the TNG folks, fell off the cliff, where they were basically like, we're so grateful to fans. Even the fans were like, in episode so and such, and this happened, and why didn't you X, Y, and Z? They're like, that's a question for the writers. And sometimes if one of the writers is like, how come we didn't do X, Y? But they would make the fans feel heard, even entertain some of them that would just like go off for the longest time. That's why Galaxy Quest is so freaking funny.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Galaxy Quest is yeah, it's a day, not just a con in our lives, but let's just say it's a kind of like a year in our lives, from, from a series to a con, and then, and
Mhm.
then the reunion tour.
Mhm. Which I love it. I love it.
I
And
love it too.
yes,
Hi everybody.
Cheryl Mercury is right. You want me to pay for it, the least you can do is respect me. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And just some guy recently did a video about this when it came to the Sandman, Lorena. And I thought he was very poignant in his words about how, you hook fans onto liking a character that was originally a certain way,
Mhm.
and then, suddenly you change certain elements of the character. Of course it's going to change how people feel about it. So like, just like any relationship that you have, that if a person changes, it's going to change how you feel about them. So these entities are real. Like these IPs are real for us, and we have feelings too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jay Longbone had one. I have to watch that. I love her. She's the reason why I got through watching season 1 of Batwoman.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my
You
gosh.
have to watch her reaction to Batwoman. It is God, it is so
Well,
good.
you know what? We should do a reaction video to it.
Can we have wine? I'm
Yes.
gonna okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. And
Okay.
we can
All
make
right.
the video as long as we need to, and
Okay.
it's going to be our. We should do that. We should do a reaction video to it because I haven't seen it in a while, and I'd love to see him again. Just say in casual, just seeing him casually like that too is very thrilling because, well, it's Henry Cavill. I guess that's the reason why. But he's so down to earth, Lorraine. Like I just never seen anything really like this in so long, and it is great to see this. Especially as such an important character, maybe one of the most important characters in the superhero realm that he plays.
I would completely agree because for me personally, granted, okay, it's like I'm not a DC like hit. However, when it comes to the DC universe, Superman is first, Batman is second, you know, kind of like that way.
Yeah.
So like I said, outside of Christopher Reeve, to me, Henry Cavill is Superman. And it's like, "Hey, Outer Mind Arts, Anna, that Star Wars girl said her
Yeah, she
ovaries
did.
exploded." I get it. That's pretty much what happened when I saw Jason Momoa in Zack Snyder's. I have to be specific. Zack Snyder's Justice League. That
Hmm.
first scene we see him in.
Yeah.
I was not right for quite some time. But here's my thing. I only see Henry Cavill as Superman in the DCEU. I can't see anybody else. And I don't I granted I hadn't paid that much attention to what was going on with the quote unquote Snyderverse because I wasn't really into the DC movies that much, but I had the unfortunate circumstance of watching what they call the Justice League, which was the
Oh,
Justice League movie,
right.
and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And I didn't like it, and it looked painful. I mean, Henry Cavill pretty much did what he could do, but I didn't like it. But then I see him in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm like, "I love this. This is the only person that I could see, as Superman." So I can't see someone else playing Superman. I mean, what about you? I mean, I'd heard the script supposedly is complete that they want to race swap Superman.
Yeah. I think that at this point, Henry Cavill isn't finished with this character. Hi, thank you
Hey,
so
Darth
much.
Megatron. Oh, Darth Megatron. Let's see. What did I got it. I got it today. I got it today. I haven't opened it yet because I was running late and I went to grab it before I got to do my stream. But as soon as I open it, I'm gonna take pictures and I'm gonna put it up on Twitter. He made some art. Some art. For me. Oh my God, I'm so
Wow.
freaking excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Can't wait. Can see it. You can see it. You. He's got the face to be Superman, Cheryl Mercury says. I wish they'd stop virtue signaling and lock him down.
He really is, and I agree with you. He's not done with this role, Lorena. There's more stories to be told, and I think that they need to capitalize on him now because I have a feeling, that he's pretty much in his prime. This is when you want to maybe tackle more serious issues with Superman and some things that we haven't seen yet. Even he should have been making many more movies. There should have never been a sort of like a stop to him
No,
doing Superman. We all know this is true. He knows it. I mean, it's kind of like, well, what were they thinking? This was a no-brainer, a huge, if I were an executive, I would be really angry that he hasn't shown up in bunches of films. In fact, that would be the question that I keep asking over and over and over again. When is Cavill's film coming out? When is Cavill's film coming out?
Mhm.
And if my subordinates said, well, we don't know, I'd have to get rid of them and get new subordinates, because there's no reason for this, not to happen. I mean, it's at a point now where there are so many stories that you could tell about Henry Cavill's Superman that you wouldn't necessarily even need a whole bunch of other superheroes in the story. It could be
Mhm.
other tales about Superman. I don't know whether um we could benefit from having a Superman that's race swapped. I just don't know. I don't think we really need it, because we have a very good Superman in Henry Cavill right now. So
And
when we've exhausted the idea of Henry
mhm.
Cavill and there's no one else, then let's go with that. But why do it when we have Cavill and he's ready to go?
And that's what I don't understand, because at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're moving into, they got the house back because because Bruce Wayne bought the bank that held the mortgage on the farm. I wanted to know what was going to happen next. You know, Clark Kent's back from the dead, a little brain, a little scramble, but he's back from the dead. They're back together. I'm like, what's the next thing? Who's the next threat to their happiness? I want to know who it is. That was my whole thing. And to tell me and to hear the news of, guess what? We're gonna race swap Superman. And it's not like they said, we're gonna do this one off and we're gonna use, Calvin Ellis
It,
from the
it could
comic.
have been a one-off, right,
That
Lorena?
that would have worked, because that would be comic accurate. I mean, I didn't know about the dude until somebody told me in the comments. I'm like, okay, well, that's comic accurate. Why don't they do that? And I believe Michael B. Jordan said that if they did that, he would be interested,
He'd be excellent as that.
because that would be comic book accurate, and no one would have a problem. But the fact that they want to do that is it's unnecessary.
And
And
they did the Titans series where he's not Superman, he's half Superman, half oh gosh, what's the guy? Lex
Lex
Luthor.
Luthor.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
he's half Superman, half Lex Luthor.
Mhm.
And but he looks like Superman.
Oh
So
my
so thank you, whoever made that decision out there. Thank you so much for making him look like Superman and smoking hot. Thank you so much. We so
Mm,
appreciate that.
yes,
Um,
you do.
but
Oh, sorry,
but
not to interrupt you, Martha. First,
yes,
Maddox says,
sure.
I have
Hi.
to go to bed very late here in Norway,
Oh,
but I hope
oh,
you and have a great stream, and
thank
all in
you.
the chat as well. Have a great day. Oh, thank
Oh,
you,
thank
Sis
you.
Maddox. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you
We
so very much for dropping by. Appreciate it.
love.
Appreciate all of you guys in
Really
here
love
on
that
Twitch.
comment, Lorena.
Yes, I
But I
do.
think that the Titans might be an example of, and it's a different, like it's its own entity. I don't see it kind of mixing with what we're seeing. Although one of the characters from that series was in the Batman, I believe. But so far, like, we're not going to see half Superman, half Lex Luthor
Mhm.
character come into, like, that's not going to happen. But it could exist in what we saw in the Titans series, and it was good. And that's the series, of course, that Alan Richardson played. I think he played. He was one
Awesome.
half of the Dove.
Oh.
It was Dove and something else, another
Mhm.
character in there, and he played a superhero in that as well. So um, I think that it can work, as you said, Lorena, standalone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Shearwater Dragons brings up a good point. It says race swap or introduce a new Kryptonian who is black. No, race swap. They point blank said that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to race swap him. J.J. Abrams is attached to it, and they're just like, this is what we want to do, because this is a particular agenda that they want to push. She says, I am all for being inclusive, but it needs to be through new characters. That is appropriate. And I agree, because first of all, Young Ripper has the video talking about exactly that. So go
Yes.
back and go back and check it out because he breaks that down, completely. And you're right, Black Superwoman. These people aren't creative enough to make their own characters. They're not, and it's a shame. And you're right, Darth Megatron. There are plenty of Black characters in DC. It's like, why can't you go and find them? Black Lightning, that's one. Oh, if you've ever seen that show on the CW, that's actually good. It's ended now. I think it only went like about four seasons. But I remember seeing the cast at a convention and they were just like, well, we kind of wanted to tell our own stories with their own character. And that's exactly what they did. And it is a really, really good show. So let's see. Yes, stop giving me hand-me-downs. And yes, yeah, dude, don't give me, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
it's a critical situation with that, and it's really too bad that's happening. I don't know what's going to happen over the next few years, but even Lorena, when you look on Cavill's IMDb or even his, let's say, wiki page where it shows what's coming up, he doesn't have like a whole bunch of years forward like he could, like 2004, 2005 in development or whatever. I see maybe 2001, 2000, sorry, 2021, yeah, 2021, and then 2022. But like he should be booked like up to 2027. I mean, what
Muted
do you
myself
think?
for a minute. He should.
Yeah.
He really should. And I think a lot of this has to do with, and I'm trying to remember some of the conversations that I've had with like the likes of Abu Nas and Fatal and a couple of other guys that are in DC, into DC. It seems like a lot of this started happening with Ant Sarnoff and Walter Hamada before the merger was announced with Discovery, because Ann Sarnoff was like, we're basically going in this new direction for more diversity and inclusion, and said basically they're not continuing with the Snyderverse.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what. Oh, go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Maria. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Diversity and inclusion doesn't mean exclusion.
Exactly. Exactly. And unfortunately, this is what a lot of them are doing. It's like we're just doing this to, we're saying that it's diversity and inclusion, but what it is basically they want to put up on screen what they want to see and don't really care if it violates canon. They don't really care if it's a quality story, because it's like, if you give us quality characters, we'll get invested into it. Like, case in point, Superman and Lois.
Right.
I did
Right.
not mind that it turned out that Lex Luthor was Black. I mean, they explained it later on, kind of what happened, but that didn't really bother me, because for me, Lex Luthor, as long as he was running, his enterprise and he was bald, that was pretty much it. That's all that I really cared about. I mean, they explained it later on, but um, it's like, just give us be creative with this stuff. Don't just give warmed over leftovers and you think that's diversity and that's the end of that. But that's what she was talking about. Well, of course, Zaslav came in, started firing people left and right. Sarnoff is gone. I don't know how much longer Hamada is going to be there. I have no idea. But what I do hope is that because of that, they'll continue on with Henry Cavill as Superman. I really do, because if they do not grab him, other people are going to grab him.
Yeah, and they need to do something like a 3-movie deal. It can't sort of like be just one. I think they could probably get another decade out of him, if they plan it right. If the money is enough, there's certainly enough stories to be told. I don't care almost to a point what they do, just as long as they know they have him for at least 3 movies in the future.
hmm Darth Megatron said, never cared for the Snyderverse, a good riddance if you ask me. However, this new batch is probably going to be just as bad. I'm kind of agnostic when it comes to the Snyderverse, because I didn't buy it. I'm a normie. So for me, the difference between, like, say, Justice League that was Joss Whedon, and I freaking hated that, especially coming off of the I think the extended cut of Batman versus Superman, because the regular cut was just horrible. I didn't like that. But going from that to Justice League, I'm like, this is ass. I mean, it was just ass. It was like trying to be Marvel, but it's like you're not Marvel. You're DC. This is why I'm watching this, to see, you're for DC. So when Zack Snyder did the Snyder cut, I'm like, oh, okay, I could job with this. It's pretty cool. So I'm not one of those that's wedded to the Snyderverse. There's some people who have really strong feelings about the Snyderverse. For me, it was just like, Snyder did it better. So I kind of like that version a little better. But yeah, I agree. If unless they course correct, which I'm hoping that they do, it's just gonna look like Aquaman too. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I think, the danger zone of getting rid of maybe what was your most popular character,
Hmm.
shows the lack of judgment, and in from an executive point of view, from a money making point of view. The danger zone of that is that it hurts you at the bank. And
Hmm.
how many years has it been now, Lorena, that it could have been, should have been at least one extra movie by now, right?
Should have been. Should have been.
And we should have been premiering maybe one in the summer. I know we had the pandemic and everything, but
Hmm.
if the schedule was what it should have been, we should have been on maybe the second film out by now. And it's clearly a snub towards him, mainly, I think,
Hmm.
one that is mind-boggling to most people. No one out there is saying, I can understand why there wasn't another one. No one would ever say that, because that just doesn't make any sense financially, and it doesn't make any sense on what Cavill has
Hmm.
to offer as an actor, as a movie star. There
Right.
aren't a lot of men who can command of the role like that. And so, it's a
Mhm.
huge loss. It was a huge loss. Well, it was painful, Lorena. I was pained that we didn't get to see
Oh,
more Cavill as
oh
Superman.
God, yeah, yeah. Outer Man Art says 9 years since Man of Steel this June. Yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with Ann Sarnoff and Walter Hamada. Well, Walter Hamada co-signed on to, yeah, we're gonna do this diversity and inclusion outreach thing. That was it. Honestly, I think that hung on with her and pushing, because when she's saying we're not considering the Snyderverse, all of them are gone, including, Henry Cavill. And I'm a normie, and I'm like, the hell?
Yeah,
I,
what the
I
hell? Who
I'm
made
like,
that decision?
I know. I'm like, who made that? There's no one else I want to see as Superman than Henry Cavill. I can't think of anybody. And I'm a normie, and I'm just like, if he's not in it, you don't get my money. That's just
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really disheartening to see the state of affairs right now. And I'm praying to the gods in Krypton. I'm praying to whatever gods I have to pray to,
Hmm.
that he'll be back, and we will see on his IMD that he's booked till 2027 or
Let's
2030 or whatever it is.
let's look at that, actually, because I love looking at this. So let's see, because sorry, not sorry. Henry Cavill is not the if I was an agent, I'd be like, oh, you don't want him for DC movies, you don't want him as Superman. Guess what? I'm gonna go find him something else, and
Hmm, hmm.
you'll be begging to get him back. So let's see. There's The Witcher. There's Enola Holmes
Uh-huh. Part
2.
two, right? Hmm.
So there's that one. I'm gonna have to check the first one. There's Argyle. I don't know
Yes.
what that is. Let me pop that open because
It's
I
it's
need a
like
reference.
he's supposed to be a secret agent who's has a memory loss.
Ooh. Oh, let's see the Argyle pattern.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell are in this
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Ooh.
And he
Okay.
loses his memory, and I'm not going to tell you anymore.
Okay. Okay. Post production expected 2020. I like Bryce Dallas Howard,
Yeah, she's
as an
fantastic.
actress and as a director. So that's going to be cool. Cheryl Brooker says he should be booked till Jesus comes back.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Like, he shouldn't have any availability. It should be like, oh, we really wish we could get you, but we noticed that you're booked till like, till you're 95. And someone says, that's
Oh
what it should
man.
be. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly my point.
hmm
You just by looking at him and his abilities, you would think that, on there it would just say, sorry, not available, no availability, sorry,
Can't get him. Sorry,
That's
can't
right.
can't get him. He needs to have that agent like Tom Cruise played in Tropic Thunder.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
He needs that kind of agent. No.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
no, you can't have him. You dumb it. You should have booked him when you had to have the chance.
That's right.
But that's going to be cool. So that's Argyle. And then there's the Rosie Project, which is in pre-production. Let's see what this is.
Interesting.
Let's see what this is right
Yeah,
here.
what is that?
Unlucky in Love university professor creates an elaborate questionnaire in an effort to find a wife and meets an unconventional woman who doesn't match any of his requirements,
Hold up.
but
And
might be the perfect woman for him.
he's the lead in playing a professor who can't get a match. No, I don't. Is he the lead? Is he the professor who can't get a match?
I think it's him. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
I you know what? If he
No.
plays that socially awkward hot nerd, I'm down. I cannot tell you how many hot nerds that I've met who were just so freaking socially awkward. It's like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to work on you. You're gonna be my pet project.
Lorraine, do we have to show them
probably
the
what
way?
this is.
Oh Lorraine,
my God, it just hit me.
Yeah, Lorraine, do we have to show them the way? Is that what we have to do now?
Yes. Yes. You have to show them the way. The first thing that you have to do, of course, is you have to how would I put this? Your first communication, you need to basically say, hey, I actually am a fellow nerd. You drop some real obscure line from a science fiction movie in there to follow up with the general ones that people know. Stuff that only like nerds would know. Stuff like that. You kind of go in that way, and then you kind of like work on them that way.
But it's Henry Cavill. If he were a professor, I don't know. I think
you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had a flashback, and I do have to. I got to tell this story.
Yes.
I got to tell the story. Okay.
Yes.
When I was in graduate school in engineering, okay, I had it's been long enough. I had this one professor for a real-time simulation class, right? Granted, he wasn't a professor. Granted, he was a grad student working on his PhD. Dude walked in, he had a physique like Henry Cavill.
Oh my God.
And he had glasses. And I'm like, oh, God, I better freaking pass this class. So I gotta pass this class. And I mean, really, he was a little socially awkward, but and I'm like, it's okay. I'll work with you. I'll work with you.
Well, I have to say, that is very clever that they did that. And of course, like, if you had it, wow, you're very lucky, Lorraine, to have a professor like that at all. But
because I have to freaking married. That broke my heart.
I've never had a professor that looked like that. But yeah, it's a must see. It's a must see. What else does he have on his slate?
Well, let's see what else he has. And I see like 2 comments from you guys that we're actually gonna expound on a little later, a little bit after we go through a few more things, because they're great discussion points and they're gonna be awesome. So let's see. That's the Rosie Project. Let's see. I'm skipping around on purpose. Squadron 42, which let's see, which is a video game.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Is that him? Is that him? I know that was Mark Hamill. So apparently Mark Hamill is in it, Gary Oldman is in it, and who else Mark Strong, who I don't really know. So it looks like it's mostly Mark Hamill, but all right, where's Andy Serkis? Okay, supposedly he was supposed to be in this. Maybe they haven't figured out the credit for who he's going to be yet. But this is a video game called Squadron 42.
Okay.
And let's see, maybe some photos here. Let me see. I don't see them. Maybe they don't have it yet. Maybe they don't have it there yet.
Right.
So
Right.
he's supposed to be in Squadron 42, which is a video game. Now, this is the one I want to talk about
Oh,
because your
yes.
girl freaking loves Highlander.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Shield Water Dragon said the last photo in that row. I'm sorry, we're gonna go back a
Oh, thank you
little
so
bit.
much.
Yes, thank you,
You.
because I'm almost embarrassed I couldn't pick them out,
No, it's
but
okay.
we're gonna pick them out. Maybe it's the helmet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the helmet. Okay. All right. So let's see. Last photo here. Let's see. Oh, duh! Duh! Okay. Okay. Well, how come he's not listing the freaking credits then? Whatever. Okay. But yes. So this is him. Ooh. Squadron 42. Okay. I'm going to have to pay attention when that game comes out.
Absolutely. We might have to play that game.
I think we should. I honestly think that we should.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, Shield Wall and Dragon. Yeah, that's him.
Yes,
That's
that
him.
is him.
The helmet kind of threw me off. I think because he's kind of to the side and not like full on.
Right.
I think that's kind of what threw me off. But oh, cool. So he's in that. But yes, to get back to, oh my God, Highlander.
Yes.
When I heard that was announced, again, your girl went screaming, running around the room, because while it's not science fiction, Highlander has a huge fan base.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Highlander. I watched the movies and the TV series with Adrian Paul. So, like, I'm a huge fan of Highlander. I think that he is the perfect person to take the role of in Highlander and just go crazy with it. I hope they give him a wonderful script, and I hope he gets to use his accent. Oh my gosh.
What if he pulls a true Scottish accent?
Oh
Hot
God.
damn. He can
Oh my
do it.
God.
He can do it. If he can't do the Scottish accent, I mean, I'll still
Like
watch, but
James McAvoy has like a Scottish accent, right? Am I wrong? James McAvoy.
I think so.
In real life, he'll play a role where he is, it's where he can use his regular accent, and it is very different, Lorena. It's very, like, it sounds really good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so
I
yeah.
sure hope he is.
Oh yeah.
And she says, if he gives a true Scottish accent, I will have his baby and give it to him. That's what I'm talking about, Black Superwoman.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I'm just like, again, another like iconic character, another very unapologetically masculine character, Highlander.
Yes. Yes. Unapologetically masculine, very strong, as romantic as, the vampires from Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire, because he's lived for so many years and seen so many things. Kind of wandering the earth kind of feeling to him. I think that this is going to be maybe the best Highlander ever. It's going to be the best Highlander ever.
It so is. Like, I wasn't Absolutely Shearwater. You can
Aw,
tell, like, in his demeanor with interviews and everything. I
I
just
know.
freaking
God, we love
love
him.
it.
We love him so much. We love this man so much.
We do. It just God, it's just
Yeah.
wow. Wow. I mean, I almost want to say this is, well, yeah, in a way I will kind of call it a middle finger salute to the folks at Warner who can't make up their mind if he should be Superman, you know, or not. I mean,
Yeah.
I can, yeah, it's just like for it's like you're gonna hem and haw about bringing him back as Superman. Guess what? He's gonna be the new Highlander. That whole fandom, and especially seeing it because I didn't watch The Witcher because girl got stuff to do. I gotta pick and choose, what I can watch. Everyone told me about it. I didn't watch The Witcher, but I sure as heck saw the Highlander movies.
Yeah, people are going to watch the Highlander movies. Those will all this is a big deal. This one is going to be one of his biggest outside of Superman films yet.
Mhm.
And he will redefine this role. I think that it's going to be an improved version, and the romance is going to be off the charts. The sexiness is going to be off the charts. You
It's gonna be
know,
so hot, especially
it's
when
going to
he is
be
in that kilt.
steaming.
Holy crap.
Yes, he's just gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be intense, Lorena. And yeah, this might break us.
You know what? I know it is. I know it is. Here's another reason. The person who is writing the script for this, the reboot of Highlander, I mean, let's see. Carrie, you having the director from John Wick direct us. Now, I have not. Your girl hasn't seen the John Wick movies yet, yet.
I see that. I see
Okay,
that.
yet. It's one of those things. I only have a certain amount of time, so there's
Right.
stuff on my list.
Right.
So that one is definitely on my list. But the action that's involved in the John Wick movies, it's you can see it. It's perfect for Highlander. I forget who directed the original
I don't
Highlander
remember either. I have no
Highlander
idea.
movies, but the sword fighting scenes were great for their time, of course. They
It
were.
was, and were we talking about 40 years ago, Lorena? This is a completely new generation, a completely new interpretation of Highlander. Now
Mhm.
that we've seen other IPs where, you have characters who may or may not be similar to this, I think that Highlander is going to be refreshing to see in an atmosphere where more people are ready to receive this idea. It's not so far-fetched. I think it's going to cross over from the IP people like us who are really excited and waiting for this into the normie realm where they've never even heard of Highlander, and seeing Henry Cavill in this, they're going to flock
Mhm.
to the movie theater, learning. They're going to go and see this film.
Oh, totally, totally. And not only are they gonna go and see the film, but then they're gonna go back, discover Adrian Paul's series. They're gonna
Yes.
go
Oh,
back
yes.
and watch all the Highlander movies, even including the one with the oh
Yes.
gosh, Mario Van Peebles. I freaking love that one.
And
I
you know
love
that
the one.
that series with Adrian Paul himself has a YouTube channel, and he's been advertising stuff on his channel. He looks relatively the same.
Hmm.
I think there is a lot of buzz about Highlander right now, and this might be the most anticipated film from Cavill coming up, other than the Rosie Project.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. Because trust me, we're keeping an eye on the Rosie Project.
Well, do you think that they could ever tear him away from Highlander? Meaning a Superman movie, another one?
Um, it's possible, but I think Highlander does gangbusters because remember, Zack Snyder's Justice League wasn't in theaters; it was only on HBO. If Highlander does a crazy amount of numbers that I hope it does, it's going to be real hard to get them back. Cavill's going to be like, maybe I
They're
got
offering
time
me
to talk
100
to you.
million. Yeah. Like,
Maybe I'd do it. Maybe. Probably tell his agent, ask for X, Y, and Z. Oh, they're going to do that now? Ask him for this. Oh,
yeah.
they do it?
I want a certain
Okay.
percentage of the studio.
Exactly. I do not believe that he would make it very, very easy for him, because I can't remember who told me, but it's kind of like when he found out that they basically wanted to replace him. I think they dropped the news on his birthday. I think it was like out there in social media. It's like, as gracious as Henry Cavill is, I can't see them being able to pull him away that easy at all, at all. So we'll see what happens, but he's gonna make them pay out the nose to get him back.
He
That's how
really
I think.
is. He really is, and it might be like the deal of the century.
Hmm.
That a deal that we've never seen before, where he's pretty much got half the studio, a quarter of $1 billion. He's got
Hmm.
like the first children of the executives. He's promised, like all sorts of crazy promises.
I'll give you, what are you gonna give me? You're gonna give me a G5? Yes.
Yes.
A
Whatever you want.
G5 aircraft.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And lots of money.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, I need to have a watch party for Tropic Thunder.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I would love to see that. I think, Cavill is one of those persons and actor who makes movies exciting, and we don't necessarily have a whole bunch of those left out there. And there's a lot of reasons for this, Lorena. There isn't as much material out there that is, grabbing our attention when it comes to movies and TV.
Mhm.
And, just having his name attached to something is going to immediately give it a ton of publicity. But, I think that, his time is precious. And,
Mhm.
I hope he makes movies forever, but he may decide not to do that. And, he's already made a name for himself, which is
Mhm.
impressive. We just can never know when someone, may decide that they're not going to do this. I mean, Ben Affleck kind of is packed it in more or less. And we haven't really seen much from him recently. But, these actors do retire and they don't stick around all the time, and they're not always going to be available. And I
Right.
just hope that he keeps his availability, as
Ooh.
open. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad he's on Instagram. This way I can objectify him like I do like I do Alan Richson and Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So there's two questions from the
Yes.
chat that I want to go to and actually address, because they're very, very very good questions. So
Yes.
Cheryl Mercury, aka Black Superwoman, is like, let's face it, all that testosterone coming through the screen is scaring feminists. And
Hmm.
that's a good, oh my God, is he grilling?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, for
Oh
his
my
girlfriend.
God.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
He's
we we
grilling.
we we gonna
Oh,
we gonna we gonna lead us. We gonna
oh
lead
my
us right
goodness
right here.
gracious.
But I mean, I think it is, because a lot of them, I'll say third wave feminism, because the old school feminists, as problematic as some of them were, the whole thing was like, give us a chance to be who we want to be and have the lives that we want to have, whether that's we want to go work or whether that's we want to stay home and raise children. It's like we want to have that choice. And originally, that's what feminism, was about. It was about empowering women to have choices over, over their lives. If you wanted to go to work, if you wanted to go into the sciences, if you wanted to do whatever, or if you just wanted to be a homemaker, it's fine. It's like that was it. Just respect, give women a fair chance, and respect that decision. Now you have third wave feminism, where they think that feminism means demonizing men. And
Yeah.
that was not what it was originally about.
Yeah, and you and I don't care for that sort of thing. We don't
No.
demonize men. We don't believe anybody who's vilifying them just because they are the male gender. And I think that that's ridiculous. I think that, it hurts everybody. Aw, it hurts everybody.
Yes, I'm flipping through his Instagram.
It hurts everybody. I mean, this is probably, one of society's flaws is just kind of randomly deciding that someone needs to be vilified for no reason, just for existing, Lorena, just for being a man. um you know
Hmm.
that that's just one of the cruelest things ever, because I feel like we need strong men, we need men in general, and to send out a message that even, let's say, someone like Henry Cavill, who you know is a representation of the things that we enjoy and love and why we go to see him in the movies, its appearance is part of this. I think it sends a really poor message, about what's important in society. We value these guys. I don't understand why anyone has to put someone down. You can still make your point, but you don't have to vilify people this way. And I hope that as we do these shows, Lorena, it stops
Hmm.
and that just goes away, and we have more of a caring society, and a society where people can ask each other out on a date and not be afraid anymore.
You are so you're so right. You're so right about that. You really are just so right. It's you get tired of hearing men, being demonized. Like I've worked with some crazy yeah, crazy feminist chicks. I prefer not to work with them. I always tell people I like the fact that I work with mostly men, although with the environment the way it is now, they're kind of uncomfortable working with. They know they have to work with me, but the environment is different. It seems like every time you hear, it's like men are holding us down. Men are the reason why we're not getting paid, as much. Because I had somebody at work say that. They're like, "Oh, well, women make less." I'm just like, which industry? Depends on what it is. Depends on what the market bears out. And they're just like, "Oh, here they're paying women less money." I'm like, I don't know about you, but you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. So if you can't
Yes.
negotiate a better salary, guess what? That is on you. And
Yes.
it's kind of like, how dare you tell me that? I was like, that's what it is. Because to paraphrase something that Black Superwoman said, you heifers are ruining it for everybody else. There used to be this balance of male and female. You basically joked with each other. You want to go out with me? No. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll ask you later, but not right now because that'd be creepy.
Yeah.
But
It
it
used to be
was
nice to get asked out and not people be afraid to ask you out. Like, that's really sad.
or compliment you on how well you look. You look nice today. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you much for that. Okay, let me hold the door for you. Let me get the door for you. Let me pull out the chair for you. I mean, I used to
Right.
walk in meetings back in the day where I had a reserved seat.
Yeah, it
I
was
did
great.
not have to reserve my own seat. I'll tell people, even when I went to go see Revenge of the Sith, I did not buy my own movie ticket. I didn't have to save my seat. I just walked up there and it was like the red seat for me. You know.
It was great. And we like that sort of stuff, and I think that it needs to come back. And
Hmm.
guys, I don't know. I feel terrible that something that is should be a fun thing has kind of turned into a scary thing. Um
Yeah, really, really just scary. And I know some men who are just like, I don't even like to really approach women because it's just like, are they going to talk down to me? They're going to, demean me. Like, how dare you come and talk to me? I don't need you to come in. I don't need you to come over here, and like, and, talk to me. It's just like, you don't even have to, you don't even have to be, you don't have to be that way.
no, you don't. And I think that there's a lot of things about it that's kind of, in addition to being scared, it's ruined the fun social interaction that we would normally have, where you could just even reach out to another professional and ask questions, and even that is not even what it used to be, and it's
Right.
unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's see. Out of Mind
Yeah.
Art says, hello, says I'm a black man. Henry Cavill and Stephen Arrow were both inspirations on taking my physical and functional fitness to another level.
Now,
That's
Stephen,
awesome.
Camel's gorgeous. The guy who played Arrow in the TV
Mhm.
series, right, Lorena?
Yes, yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, he's a knockout. And that is great that you found inspiration that way. I
Mhm,
think that that also does happen when you see a character that you like or an actor that you like, and you say, "Yeah, maybe I should try that out." And that can happen, and we're happy for you. It's just wonderful to hear that happened for you. So Stephen Amell is really unbelievable. I think that he carried that series Arrow for many years. Even like towards the end it wasn't that great, but he was also a very good looking Canadian actor. I think he's Canadian,
mhm,
and I think he's a great star as well. I don't know what he's doing now, but certainly he definitely kept his physique up. And I kind of joked
mhm.
about it. I think they might have done a 1/6 scale figure of him where he's wearing the arrow thing where he has his little mask on his eyes, and I'm like, you can see it's him. Like, that's
Mhm,
not hiding him. They had to put it on his face, but I'm like, it's clearly that guy. Like, it's him. But
mhm.
like, because it was a TV series or whatever, they had to put the little mask on, but you can
Yeah.
see it was him. I'm like, don't cover up his face. He looks great. He's got a great body. Don't cover him up.
Oh,
So
absolutely, absolutely. Darth Megatron, we'll get to his before. Yeah, Wonder Woman got a lot. Yeah, you got that right. I loved Wonder Woman. My goodness.
yeah.
Darth Megatron 69 says women make less by choice. There's nothing stopping women from working in higher paying fields most of the time. They choose not to ask for a raise slash promotion or work overtime. Yet for some women who are raising families, they can't really do a lot of the OT. And for some women, they're just like, fine, I want that flexibility. That's what I want, at the time. But yes, higher paying fields, like for example, engineering. Not a whole lot of women in engineering. It's a different type of skill set. And honestly, if
Yes.
you are a woman in engineering, recruiters are busting down the door to try to get you to work at the company. I mean, that's pretty much how it is because there's not that many of you. I liken engineering to modeling. Like in the modeling industry, female models make a lot more money
Yes.
than male models do. In engineering, men usually will make more than women if they're not doing overtime, but as the skill set, and that's usually down at the bottom, but as the skill sets start to increase, it's very hard to try to not, because if you're not paying them the same amount of money, they're going to go someplace else because that's a certain talent pool. Engineering is a very logical field and it's a lot of problem solving. It's a different set of skills for the same reason that there's more women in nursing than there are men, reason why there's more men in engineering and not necessarily women. That's a skill set. So you're right, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. There really isn't. And it used to be
Exactly.
that was not the thing. It's just like we're not talking about higher pay. We're just talking about having the opportunity, having an equal opportunity, and not say if you weren't for you freaking men, I could make more money. I will say that in my career, some of the biggest detractors have been women. Oh yeah, just saying.
Oh,
Just saying.
oh dear.
Hello, Banjo Sandwiches. Hello,
Hello.
ladies. Good to see you over here on Twitch. I sure do appreciate that.
Yes.
Let's see.
Wow, we have a lot of
Uh,
comments tonight, Lorena.
we sure do. Shield Wall of Dragons. We're gonna get this in one more. Well, for most men, if they really want to be, they are functionally invisible to women. If you never initiate a conversation, no woman will talk to you for an entire day. They really
Hmm.
want to be, they are functionally invisible. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole thing with conversation initiation. Yeah, it's like if you don't, it's like you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Right. Right.
And that is kind of how it is. Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys at work where they're like, there's this girl I want to talk to. No, I can't go, can't talk to you, can't talk. And then one guy says, screw it, I'm gonna go over and talk to her. And then he winds up talking to her.
Right.
and talking
Right.
to her again. And then she
Right.
recognizes him and say hi, and they're just like, the hate starts to flow. It's just like, you can't hate this dude because he took the risk that you didn't,
Exactly.
so that's kind of how that works. Okay, cool. Got it right. Sheer Dragon says yes. That's what I meant by that comment. So let's see this last one, which I think is a great, great one to wrap the show up with. Outer Mind Art says, ladies, now Hollywood finds regular levels of testosterone in men threatening. Yes. Yes, we do. And the funny thing is, it's like it wasn't always that way. You would
No.
have like these hot leading men, right? That were just testosterone flowed freely. That was the thing. You had the hot looking dude, and that's what women wanted to see.
And we still do.
Hmm. Yeah, contrary to what Hollywood tries to tell you, we still do.
Yes. So, no matter what they're putting out there now, it's like we still want to see that. We still enjoy the company of men. We still enjoy seeing men, use physical activity, just kind of have those, like, for example, when I was watching, and I know we talked about the Northman the last time,
Hmm.
seeing them, just push themselves physically was just so impressive. And I just loved seeing that because it's really just a display of the beauty in their physical abilities. So to take that completely out of the equation, I think is ridiculous. I think it's too bad. And you can't have Superman that way. Superman has to be a physical character. So maybe that's
Oh
another
yeah.
reason why we saw sort of a downtick on that. Like, for example, in the Batman movie that came out, and I know a lot of people didn't care for it, but there was physical activity. People were fighting. I mean, you couldn't have
Hmm.
something like that, and someone say, "Well, maybe he ought to be more tame," or also end up with something like the Book of Boba Fett, and you saw how that went
Ooh,
down.
yeah. Yeah. The majority of women want, if there's a man on screen, they want to see him either physically, it's like kind of like two things, physically or like mentally. There has to be some kind of draw that way. I kind of give the example of like two characters, especially in Marvel. Like you have Wolverine, okay, Hugh Jackman as
Yes.
I've been putting off seeing Logan because I have to get I've been getting myself psyched up to see it because I know it's the end. And I just mm, I, Wolverine was one of my favorite Marvel characters. So just and
And
who
that's not the one where he's in Japan.
um I don't know because I've never pressed play on it.
Okay.
I never pressed play
Really?
on it. Yeah, I haven't. It's one of those things just like watch it. I know it's gonna be the end. It's like I know it's gonna be the end. So I am gonna see it because Freebie keeps popping it up on my Fire TV. So I'm definitely gonna see it. So that's like with Wolverine, he has a very physical presence. He likes to
Yes.
solve things with his adamantium claws. That's what he does. Then you have Professor X who solves things, with his mind. Both of them are very masculine presence. Wolverine likes to protect with his physical presence. Professor X likes to protect with his mental presence. And those are qualities we like to see in men on screen. But
Mhm.
now Hollywood's like, oh no, that's toxic. You can't have that going on. And then they wonder why women don't want to see those movies. It's like I don't want to see a movie with a feminized man. That's not what I want to see.
Like the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, exactly like the book, exactly like the book of Boba Fett. That's why we say, and it's true, the best episodes of the book of Boba Fett were the ones that the Mandalorian was in. And what
Yes,
was
because
the
he
Mandalorian doing in those episodes? Kicking
because the man
somebody ass or getting his ass kicked, one of the two. But
yeah.
very physical. He was doing stuff.
And the Mandalorian brought sexy back to it. We like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Reacher was such a success. You
Oh
can't have
yeah.
Reacher without the physicality. There has to be physical moments in it that define, in addition to the investigation, but also the struggle of the fight that's
Mm-hmm.
going on in it, and it has to be done that way. There's no other way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. Shieldwater Dragon says no, he is in Mexico and America. Is that the Logan film? He's in Mexico and
Oh,
America.
okay. So the one I might be thinking of is it Wolverine? Is it Wolverine? The one, because there's one where he is in Japan, and you probably saw it, Lorraine. It was excellent. So I know what you're talking about. I haven't watched the most recent one either.
Logan. Okay, yeah, the one in Japan I didn't see. I didn't see.
Okay,
I think I
you've
skipped
got
this
to
one.
see that one.
Yeah, I'm
You
really
will love it. You will
I'm
love
really
it. Oh, you
behind
will
because
love it.
I love because I saw the first Wolverine origin movie. Oh my god, I freaking love that. I love that. I love that so much. When I adopted two cats, well, they had already named them. That's how they knew they were for me because it was a litter of three kittens. One was named Victor, one was named Kayla, and one was named Logan. And Victor got adopted first, so I got Logan and Kayla.
Aww.
So I remember seeing the origin one. And oh god, I love that. I watched that so many freaking times, so many freaking
Mhm.
times. Yeah, I have to let y'all know when I press play on Logan. It's just I gotta psych myself up. And yes, Reacher Shieldwater Dragon says Reacher was a great show. I watched it in one sitting, but
Mhm.
God, it was man, it was awesome.
Spectacular.
It
Mhm.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks to Skydance.
Yes.
That's why it was so good. And the Outer Mind Arts says women enjoy men who can be physically and or intellectually dominant over them in a healthy manner. I agree.
Yes.
We men can be vulnerable to women's emotional dominance. Look at Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman. Yeah, yeah. You want to speak on this one
Yeah,
before I do?
definitely. I think what was interesting about this role for Catwoman, and it's not, I found that this Catwoman was very intriguing because after all, the character wants to kill her own father, and just like wrap yourself around that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wakes up in the morning saying that you're going to kill your father. And, knowing that this person has, strangled her mother, it's terrifying and a shocking notion, but the Batman does not judge her. He doesn't judge her because he knows she's going by pure emotion alone. And while
Mm-hmm.
it's true that she struggles as he's strangling, as the father strangling her, he goes in to save her and stops her from doing something stupid. I think she would
Mm-hmm.
have regretted if she had done that, no matter what the circumstances are. Maybe, killing somebody that close to you, or even if he wasn't, you see, it would have been different, Lorraine, if she never met the father, she didn't know him,
Mm-hmm.
and that was something she was quite detached from, but that's not the case. She used to go to that club as a child, from what she explained. And
Mm-hmm.
so she has this emotional attachment to this person. He knows that she might be, that his daughter is not anyone he's acknowledging the right way. He knows that. And so, with that in mind, it's very difficult to kind of look at a situation like that objectively as a child. So
Mm-hmm.
can just imagine her upbringing, what that must have been like. And now she's
Mm-hmm.
telling, for her to even admit, or for him to witness that she was going to kill the father this way. The Batman must be incredibly understanding, but it was purely emotion in that case. And he had the opportunity, really, and he did, to kind of stop this, because the last thing you want to do is to have that on your conscience. I don't believe she's a bad person. For whatever reason, Lorena, she determined that she had to kind of seek revenge for her mother. She felt that that was
Mm-hmm.
important because she knew that there was never going to be a court that was going to find the father guilty for killing the mother.
No,
And
no.
so it's almost like she says, I better do something. He can't get away with hurting my mom like this. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that he was strong enough. He had to physically stop her from doing this. He couldn't talk her off the ledge, could he? He had to
No.
stop. He had to block her. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad he did. And I think she was glad in the end, too. She still had things that she has to resolve. So she couldn't be with him now, because I
Right.
think that she's come to the realization saying, wow, he really is a pretty good guy. I guess I was wrong about my stupid comments about calling him privileged and being a dick. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess he really isn't a dick. I guess he really cares about me. I got to get out of here. So I feel that
Hmm.
in regards to this comment, that's exactly how I would put it. And he knows that. He knows that he is stronger than her, not just, unfortunately, not just physically, but also mentally. And it really wasn't her fault. She was brought up in this bad environment.
Right. It's like, you know what's familiar to you. And that's the only way that she knew how to right this wrong. So he kind of like showed her a different way. I would say instead of dominant, because I get where you're coming from, more of like assertive, because it's true. Because assertion is kind of like on degrees.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Like I remember I was out with this one guy. It was kind of fun and everything. And I'm about to, we go out, to go walk on the sidewalk. And the first thing that he does is like physically moves me to the inside. And I'm like, what the frick is that about? He's like, no, you don't walk on the outside. Women don't walk on the outside.
Right. Right.
I'm like,
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
okay. And that's all I said. That's all I said because I was like, okay, I get your point. Because I will have a one-track mind because it's like kind of how I am. It's like I'm by myself and doing whatever. It's like, no, no, you can't be, you can't be on the, you can't be on the on the outside. And
Right.
I tell people that, true to being an engineer, I always think that I'm right until you can prove by the shadow of a doubt that I'm wrong, and then I gotta freaking eat that. But until that, that's what I'm gonna do. And some of them are just like, okay, well, I'm right. I'm like, shoot, yeah, you're right. I would have done X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
But it's that balance between the two, and it's perfect. How we balance each other out that way, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's so sad to see that demonized. That's one of the things that I like about anime that I keep seeing more often, um, especially with how they do it. In anime, when there's male female relationships, there's a balance to it, and
Right.
it's great. And I wish that was something that they seems like they're bringing it back, like with Reacher. Hopefully other films will learn, but to bring that balance back, because women want to see that. They don't want to see a domineering man, but they want to see one who's assertive, who sees that if you are in trouble, if you are physically in trouble, they have no qualms about grabbing you and pulling you back from the ledge physically, even though they know that you're probably going to curse them out. They'll
Yes.
do that. Or the
Yes.
ones that'll
Yes.
know, hey, I'm about to get into this fight, and woman's like, you know you're wrong, and you should not do that, and this is exactly why you shouldn't. And okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that would have been kind of stupid. All right, let me back.
Mhm.
you know, I know I can roll with assertion being the more appropriate term. Yeah, yeah, because it is assertion. It's like it's different levels of influence that that you would exert, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be like a domineering, controlling a-hole.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the Batman really did have to kind of block her physically from doing that. I mean, this
Hmm.
was something that maybe her best friend couldn't do. If, let's say if this was a girl, it's like I may not be able to push someone, or block them from doing something like that. You could talk to them, but
Hmm.
I'm not going to have that same influence too. But she was very lucky. Let's just say she's a very lucky woman.
Very, very, very. And yes, I want a cat woman like Eartha Kitt. You think her
Yes.
feminine wiles to get what she wants. Even old school Batman. I know I'm going a little over here. Old school Batman with Adam West. Every time Catwoman would come around, he would just, like, why do you have to affect me like that? And this is Batman of all people. He's kicking ass in a previous frame, and then Catwoman shows up, and it's just like, oh shoot. And
Hmm.
she's just talking to him and stroking his face, and he's just like, I gotta fight this. I don't want to, but I got I gotta fight this. He's actually entertaining that because of the attraction that he has for her, even when sometimes he's got to like restrain her. It's just like, you're gonna get caught. You know, let me go. And I love that. That's why I freaking love Catwoman. Eartha Kitt is Catwoman, not that Halle
Arr,
Berry, Vermin is great.
arr,
I know. It's a
arr.
freaking
And
love that.
she would be like, I would watch some of that, like some of the earlier episodes, and she'd be like, "I'm gonna get you, Batman," and I'm like, "Yeah, go get him," like.
I'm like, literally, go and get him. Oh, that too, Darth Megatron. We all know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We all freaking know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Logan. Yes, that's the other reason why I've been putting it off.
Oh.
I don't. I'm gonna be a hot mess. I'm gonna be a hot mess. I'm probably gonna be more of a hot mess than after I saw a Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie.
Oh.
Dang, Rengoku, daggone it. Uh, ah. I'm still
Aw.
sad. I'm still sad. Oh, I know, but I know, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'll wind up rubbing that stuff off and crying
Yeah,
and
we won't do a
tissue.
Tammy Faye. We won't do a Tammy
No,
Faye. It's not gonna be
no,
Tammy Faye.
no. It'll just be stuck on the
Yeah,
full
it'll be like,
stuff.
what's that big
So,
glob on your eyelid?
like nothing, nothing. Oh my God, you guys! As usual, time flies just way too fast, and we love doing this show. We love talking about toxic men that we like, and continuing to kind of let Hollywood know, look, hey, we want to see strong, assertive, gentle, kind men who are not ashamed of their masculinity. Those
Right.
are the characters that we gravitate to. And if you don't believe it, hey, wait till Highlander comes out. That's
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be crazy. It's
all
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
crazy.
all I'm gonna forget. Oh, okay, Darth Megatron. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open it right now.
Oh
Shoot
my
wall daggers
god.
is great. I caught it. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh
I'm
my
gonna open
god.
I'm
Oh my
gonna
god, this is
open it
so
up
exciting, Lorena.
right
Oh my god, I
now. Right
love it.
now. I'm gonna open it up.
Oh my god. I love it. I love it so
I've been
much.
waiting for this. Let me see. Yes, Henry in a kilt. You know what?
Oh, and
God,
nothing more.
that's it. Like a true Scotsman.
That's
I
right.
want to see him throwing stuff like at the Highland Games. That's what I
Yeah.
want to freaking say.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh god.
Let's see. We got it. We got a double. We got a double. We got a double
Mm.
back here. Looking around like that. I was gonna do a video revealing it, but I've been waiting for this for a long time, and I'm so honored that Darth Megatron put the
I
Lord,
can't
oh
wait to
man.
see this.
Let me see. I'm trying to get the tape off. I'm trying to get the tape off. 'Cause I usually like to take my time opening stuff like this so I don't like mix it up. No, honey, you know I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. Nope, nope, nope,
No,
nope.
we don't do that here.
No,
We don't believe in that.
that's why I purposely kept it on one side so you couldn't see that or anything like that. So
No.
don't worry. I do not like doxing people at all. I don't
Yeah,
like
I don't
doing
believe
that.
in it.
I don't believe in doing that. Even some people who I stream with, when they tell me their real name and then they'll contact me later on with their real name, I'm like, who the frick is this? I'm like, who is this? I
I don't know you.
Like, who is this person? Because I remember one
Oh,
time
geez.
I had Valiant Renegade had called me, and then he used his government name to see who he was. I'm like, who the frick is this, and why do you have his phone? When you have Valiant's phone. It's one of those things you start to like run into like in this community. People could know each other for years
Yes.
and you know they'll still use that one. Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying to be very, 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 very careful because I swear to God, if I scratch this, I'm gonna cry.
I cannot wait to see
I'm
this.
gonna cry. Okay. Let's see. Open open your present. Okay, so we're gonna blow it up a little bit. So this is me as
Oh my
Windblade.
God, it's
Isn't that
amazing.
gorgeous? Oh my God,
Oh
it's
my
so freaking
God,
gorgeous.
I love it. I love it.
It
So
is
beautiful.
absolutely
Oh my
gorgeous.
gosh, Lorena, it's so beautiful.
Here's the other one.
Oh my gosh, I love that
This is
too.
my avatar over there on Twitter. I loved it. He like put it like up and says, "Hey,
It's
this is what I'm working on."
incredible.
I put it over there. I absolutely freaking love it.
It's so incredible.
That's right.
Wow.
Big hair don't care.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. So now I have a bikini top just like Stunning and Brave Megatron. If you've ever seen his avatar,
Wow.
it's great.
It's incredible. I love it,
Yes.
Lorena.
He drew me as an Autobot. He's like, yep, this
Wow.
is Windblade. I'm so, oh my God, I love this.
Lorena,
Thank you
it's gorgeous.
so much, my dear. Yes, I definitely do want frames because I'm actually going to be redoing my office space of my studio space. Yes, now we're twinsies. I'm gonna be redoing my
I love it.
office space. So yes, I definitely am getting frames because also my camera girl, my little helper sometimes when I go to the parks, she did some artwork for me. So I have to get she's an up and coming art
Oh,
student in college. So I am putting her artwork up as well. So
nice.
I gotta get frames. So thank you so very much, Studying and Brave Megatron. I so appreciate
Wow,
this. I
Lorena, that is
cannot wait
incredible.
to frame these and put these up properly. They are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you have like a art site like Etsy, DeviantArt, or whatever it is for commissions, you're gonna have to drop me that link so I can give you props for that and blast that out because people are gonna ask me,
Yeah. Yes.
how can I get this? So I need to know. I need to know where to send them. So we have like a
Yes.
reveal. It's so cool. I can't wait to take pictures of it. Put it on there a little bit later. Oh my gosh! For you guys, thank you so much. First of all, for hanging out here with us. We so do appreciate it. It's been an amazing time as always. Thank you for being my co-host along this journey. It's always
Thank you
been
for
great.
having me.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you. So next week, I believe Tom Cruise is going to be our subject because Top Gun Maverick's going to be opening pretty soon.
Yes. Yes. I
Mhm,
cannot wait.
mhm. So that's going to be, yeah, Top Gun. And for people who are asking, yes, we will get to Chris Pratt.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
He's in the queue. He's in the queue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely in time for a Jurassic World Dominion. So
Mm-hmm.
not gonna forget him. And yes, Darth Meg. Okay, all right. I certainly will hit you up over there. Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. So do appreciate all of you so much. And we will see you same time next week here over on Twitch. So take care, everyone. Bye.